Probably one of the biggest issues that we see with the bill is that if this bill passes into law and the definition of marriage is changed from one man, one woman, it opens the door to any kind of other changes in the future. It means that our children and grandchildren that are going through state education systems, they'll be taught that marriage of a man and a woman is not special, it's not unique. And we think that that will just confuse the picture for the next generation. And marriage has already got significant challenges. I mean, before this bill came up, we were already working on a number of issues to try and reinvigorate marriage and highlight how important it was to society. Changing the definition and saying that essentially it's whatever you want to make it is only going to make the picture worse.
So what basis do you have for these concerns? Because there is quite a lot of support for this bill to go ahead.
Yeah, well, the original polls we were seeing were figures like 70%. A poll that came through a couple of weeks ago, commissioned by Family First organisation, who actually have done a very solid job on this, independent research, and it showed that the support was down below 50%. It's actually only 47%. So the trend has been dropping as people have a chance to hear what the arguments are, and as they come to realise that the main argument, which is that this is all about equality, that's a complete red herring. It's actually a smokescreen. The equalities that the people hope to get by changing this definition, they already exist, with the one major exception of being adoption. And we would say that adoption is such a serious issue in its own right that it deserves to be treated as a separate issue and debated properly, not kind of passed through, as it were, finessed because this bill passes.
What do you want Parliament to do with this?
We want Parliament to reject the bill. That's what we've called for consistently, and on this issue there is a greater level of consensus among church leaders and Christians than on almost any issue that you could find. There have been a number of recommendations coming out of the Select Committee. After the first reading, the Select Committee process, they submitted their report, and that has suggested a change basically to try and give some confidence to ordained ministers who are marriage celebrants that they will not be compelled to perform marriages against their conscience of belief. However, that was never one of the biggest issues as far as we're concerned. It is a big issue, but that affects maybe a few thousand ordained ministers. The bigger issue by far is the freedom of conscience and freedom of belief for every other Christian and even non-Christian who disagrees with this change, who thinks that this will not be good for society, and who wants the freedom to be able to express that view. And if they work in a state institution, or if they work in a school or somewhere, they will not be allowed to express that view. Evidence overseas suggests strongly that they will actually be coerced or pressured into going along with it.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.